This is a video by Richmond. Today we're working on a Dodge Journey. This happens to be a 2009 model. And what we're doing today is we are replacing the rear brakes. First thing we have to do is get the vehicle up in the air, support it on jack stands, and remove the tires. First thing we have to do is remove these 13mm headed bolts that secure the caliper to the mount. Now we're going to need a 15mm very thin wrench. Get in there, hold that. Okay, that one's loose. Now we have to remove both these bolts. There we go. Almost there. There we go. And you can see this rotor isn't very good, so we're going to have to take our caliper mount off to get our rotor out of the way. Let's secure this caliper back out of the way a little bit, if we can. We have two 18mm bolts that hold the caliper mount on. I've got a big 1/2-inch breaker bar. Now I think we can get our ratchet on there. Now here's the last bolt. Watch out that rotor doesn't fall on you. Alright. There's the caliper mount. Now, one thing you want to make sure of is these pins. You want them to be nice and loose. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get on the bench, take them off, re-grease them just to make sure, and then I'll load my pads in there. I think we can take our rotor off. Okay. Yikes. Now we have to put the piston back into the bore. And keep track of these cutouts right here. What you could do is you could mark it if you want. Now we're going to use this tool right here, and we're going to use the H014 adapter on there. Alright, we're going to have to keep turning that in till we get it down there. Now up here in the northeast, these rotors can weld themselves onto the hub. So I've got a little synthetic grease here, so it won't do that. So next time the rotor will come right off. Alright, there she be. Alright, let's take our pins off here and oh yeah, they need a little grease. Using the synthetic brake caliper grease. Oh boy, this one's a little rusty. We're going to have to clean that up before we grease it. Alright. We need to do that now. Now take a look at your shims right here. Make sure they're in good condition. If they're not, now's the time to replace them. It's good to keep track of how your pads came out, so you can get them back in the same position. Okay, we're ready to go in there. Alright, let's get our mount in place. There we go. Now let's tighten those bolts up. Now I just did a dry fit of the caliper and it didn't fit. Remember how we marked the top of that slot? It was on the top. Well, it had to be turned in 180 degrees, and after we did that, see, it fit. So now that we know it fit, we want to put a little bit of synthetic grease on our caliper so it doesn't squeal. You can put it on the pad if you want. What I like to do is put it right on the contact so I don't waste it. Try to prevent it from squeaking on you. Okay. Now, where's our bolts? That's that one. Okay. That one's in place. Alright, now all we have to do is tighten those up now. Alright, we got our bolts all tightened. Pads are in. Rotor's on. So now all we have to do is do the same thing to the other side. And we're almost done. Now after you put your tires back on the vehicle, you want to pump the brake pedal before you move the vehicle. Very important. Always pump that brake pedal so it takes up any space, so when you put it in drive and take off, you have brakes to stop the vehicle. So that's it. So that's all there is to replacing your brake pads on your Dodge Journey.